Good afternoon, organization development professionals and HR leaders. In today's vlog, I answer the question, how do we start our meetings off well so that we get maximum participation, psychological safety, and people are bringing their best thinking and their best conversation and efforts to whatever problem the team is there to address. Now, in the past, the way I was taught to do this, the way most people still address this issue, is we start off with ground rules. And we'll ask the group, or say, hey, we're going to brainstorm how we want to be together today. And what kind of list do you think we come up with? Let's see if any of these look pretty familiar to you. We need to show respect. Don't interrupt. Ask questions. Contribute. Attack the problem, not the person. Listen, etc., etc., etc. Now, my guess is you've seen those before. You've probably said those before. These are the kind of things that typically come up when this type of brainstorm is done. And unfortunately, while that may have been kind of really revolutionary way of level setting the playing field 30, 40 years ago, today, everyone's been through this exercise before. So instead, what you get is people rolling their eyes, people playing along. And then when you start the meeting, the behaviors are no different. They don't look any more like this than what they would have the way this group normally is, the way they work together day in and day out. So the time was wasted. We didn't change behaviors. And in fact, we've kind of set up this weird, I'm talking down to you, because you notice this is like the stuff you learned in kindergarten, right? The stuff we're all supposed to act nice, let's play together well. So I'd like to introduce to you a different way, a way that I started using probably 2-3 years ago, just as a way of kind of changing the conversation. I wanted to engage people intellectually. I wanted them to get a positive vision of what it might look like, and see if we couldn't actually get some of these productive meeting behaviors and have that sense of psychological safety. So here's how I do it now, and let's just go through that. This is typically what I have hanging up on the flip chart when they walk in, and once everyone's seated. Good morning, everyone. So glad you're here today. We're going to be meeting about fill in the blank. Before we do, I wanted to share just a few thoughts around teams and how teams work together well. These are two frameworks that have worked very well for me, a lot of folks that I've worked with. So back in 1992, actually, Katzenbach and Smith, they were two McKinsey researchers that kind of went out on their own, and they wrote the book, The Wisdom of Teams, which was revolutionary for the time. They define a team as a small number of people with complementary skills who are committed to a common purpose, set of performance goals, and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. Now, 10 years after that, as in 2002, Pat Lencioni wrote the book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. How many of you here have read that book? I'm sure you've seen it. It's been a bestseller for years and years. Super. What he did, he talked about the kind of dynamics that happen and how one can lead to another to create either a very dysfunctional team or a very strong and robust team. Now, I'm going to change up the words a little bit to show the positive behaviors that we're supposed to see in each and every team. According to Pat, teamwork is founded on, yes, you guessed it, trust. The ability or the sense that I and what I hold valuable is safe with this group of people. I can bring myself fully to the game. I can try, I can learn, I can grow, I can stretch, and I can even fail, and I won't be ridiculed. So for Pat, a big key of trust is the ability to be vulnerable in front of others. Now, once I have that sense of trust enables what Pat calls healthy conflict. And I'm not sure if he wrote it or I heard it from another author, but I always like to add in here The idea by healthy conflict is not fighting, it's water cooler honesty. You know, the meeting that people have after the meeting, where they go talk about the meeting that they just had, and then they're sharing what they really think. The idea here is that if we have trust within our group, within our team, that we won't have the meeting after the meeting. We'll have that same kind of dialogue, same kind of rich, robust difference of opinion, where everybody's kind of tossing, where we can risk having a little friction, but that's okay because we trust one another. We know that fundamentally we're safe. And it's that level of water cooler honesty which then enables folks to truly commit to the decision. When we don't have trust, then we speak in polite ways, but we don't really get to the nub, the root, the things that would cause us discomfort to get the best solution. So people leave half-hearted, and those that were championing the idea will go do it. And the rest of us who are dragging our feet will go have the water cooler honesty, or the conversation at the water cooler where we say, yeah, can you believe those guys talking about that? And we fail to follow through. We fail to truly commit to the decision. This lack of commitment means that we do not hold ourselves accountable. However, when there is trust, which enables robust conversation, which enables everyone to say their piece, we can then commit to the decision, even if it wasn't what we initially wanted, which then means we come back and we can hold ourselves accountable. I can look across the table the way Katzenbach and Smith talk about it in terms of a set of performance goals and approach for which people on the team hold themselves mutually accountable, not just from the leader, but from one to another. This level of accountability finally enables us to focus on team results. Pat makes the distinction between the results that are maybe particular to me, to my department, to what I want to accomplish, the kinds of things that will help my career goals. Team results sometimes mean sacrifice. Sometimes means I allow you to take resources that would be coming to me. But what's most important is the team and how we succeed together. Now, what are your thoughts, comments on this? Does this look attractive to you? Does this kind of vision of how a team can and should work attract you? So what are some of the implications for today? How will we go about establishing or building or adding to trust within this room? What are some things we want to do or avoid? What about healthy conflict? What does that mean for today? Now pause. So back to here. That's how I actually facilitated each of those questions that I just asked just at the end there. There's really, by this time, there's real robust ideas and dialogue. People are engaged. Some of what comes out at that point looks and sounds similar to this. But what's different is it's less about things like show respect, because everybody knows they're supposed to show respect already. It's more the kinds of behaviors that really actually will stretch them. Hey guys, today, let's make sure no one leaves with something unsaid. Now, as their facilitator, I don't write any of these down. All I do, they're hearing it. I can then come back at a later time and I can check with them and just remind them if that's an issue. Hey, what did we say earlier? How is it that we want it to be today? And the group will remind each other how they want to be. This is a very simple model. This is a simple definition, but it's a very effective way to get a group of people started off so that they have productive meetings. It also enables, if I'm going to be with this group for a while, it also enables me to come back and us to do some trust building activity, which is frequently part of the start of a day, particularly if it's a longer conversation we're going to be having. Thanks so much for watching today. I appreciate your thoughts. If you have questions or comments, please add them below, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.